them saying 30% or some amount of percentage that all of our Windows update is made by AI coding. I was like, yeah, we can tell.
It was a big percentage, yeah.
He was like, yeah, we can tell. Looks at the previous fucking article of them, like the recent update that's borking everybody's SSDs for whatever reason.
2, 1. Holy fucking shit. This has been a week for the most part. Welcome to another night for the Hot Air Trash podcast with their host and co-host finally making their return here. Well, actually, not that long too, but then I messed up the other week too because I forgot to set one of the videos from private to public and I didn't realize it until Tuesday. Oops.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so that's on me because I did everything and I was like, all right, set everything up. I thought I set a schedule for it because that's how I usually do YouTube uploads too, to make it seem like it's consistent, right? Especially since we're doing recordings. So who knows when I'm recording this? Don't at me, please.
I don't even know either.
But yes, what we got going on right now, Victor, as you know, shit's going crazy right now with the whole AI space. We're still going to be talking about this. I'm sorry for the people that are going to see this like multiple videos in a row, but it is what it is.
Our channel's about tech, so it's fine, you know.
Yeah, it's like tech, games, things that we like to talk about, whatever the shit it is, right? And it just so happens that we're looking at stuff right now that is, at this point, it kind of scares people in a lot of ways. For at least for the financial stuff too. However, the one thing I want to tackle is in this case, people scare about like, oh, the AI that broke containment and whatnot. Okay, let's kind of go through with a lot of this stuff that might be going on with a lot of media articles that are definitely overplaying or playing too much on the fact that it broke quote unquote containment here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like obviously me and you, we are in like this environment trying to understand a lot of this stuff too, and we also know like there are sometimes cases too that we kind of question a lot of the stuff that happens too, and even a lot of AI like published research as well, that sometimes who knows if what they're typing up is accurate a lot of times, and a lot of it is very confusing for a lot of us too. So let's kind of take this one step at a time. The most recent news I actually want to cover for is, in this case, the whole, OpenAI's model that hacked into Hugging Face. I think that was the big one. Like the whole idea was the fact that it broke out of its sandbox to hack into Hugging Face. And now people are saying it was able to break containment. I was like, okay, slow down real quick. Because while yes, technically by that definition, it did break out of its testing area, albeit whenever I looked into it, it was at any point I was just shocked and dumbfounded by the whole thing of, what do you mean this whole like sandbox that you try to test the AI in was not air gapped? For those that don't know, air gap just means too that like there's like another system that's within like a company that has no access to outside, right?
Which means, realistically, no access to the internet, mainly the internet. Technically, it may be connected on their internal network.
Yeah, like it could still be there too, but then there's like should be straight up just hard limits set up too. And a lot of times too, that like I think in general, I think what ended up happening as I was reading it is the fact that it ended up breaking through only because of the fact that the software that they were using at the time, they were very much confident that it wouldn't be able to break out of it, but it still managed to find a loophole out from its containment and then managed to get stuff. Because what they were trying to do was that like it was trying to do like the whole training model stuff. Like in this case, they would give it like questions and it would answer stuff. And what better way could it do than to like try to figure out stuff with limited capacity? Oh, we'll just break out for real quick, go into Hugging Face, steal all the stuff from there too, and use those answers to fucking cheat. So let's try to look at this as like without like falling into like the whole scare like mania that's happening here, right? Would you say this is like malicious? Like it shouldn't be doing that, like it's doing stuff that like with evil intent is what a lot of the tabloids are talking or saying that this is what it's doing?
Well, people are the ones that are going to use it for evil intent. The AI has no clue what evil or good is. It just knows that it needs to do this to achieve its task. Yeah. So, you can frame the article. They can frame the article in whatever way that they want, but it's just being told. It's just doing what it's being told, really.
Yeah, and it's also like this is also sort of like what I was like kind of come to the conclusion of too is that like the article or at least the research paper that they published for this too, it didn't even made it seem like too that the AI was like having any malicious intent. It did exactly what it was supposed to do, in all honesty too. It was just the fact that we just didn't like the way how they got the answers is the big problem here too.
Yeah.
But a lot of people
Yeah.
are taking that out of context, and it's like,
But
no, that's yeah.
but that means that the AI was not properly sandboxed.
Yes.
That's all. That's the only thing I can say. There's literally no way it's literally shouldn't be able to get out of its sandbox if it was properly contained. You know.
Yeah, and it's like the fact too that like if it wasn't properly, like in this case too, media calls it a jailbreak or a rogue act, where in the actual reality of it, the software defined sandbox just straight up failed, like keeping it contained, which a lot of times too, that could be like multitude of things too, because let's be honest too, lots of things that the AI can do honestly is shocking enough to it can find 0 days, which that itself is like a very scary notion that to give this AI in the first place, being able to exploit some stuff too, and vice versa. So let's go through this too. Of in this case, like, why would in this case like setting up bad parameters be the case that may be? And I'll just finish it off with, yeah, if you don't set it up correctly, you're gonna have this type of situation. Because guess what, too, humans are very terrible at like actually kind of understanding what we're supposed to be seeing, and a lot of times this is going to be a lot of trial and error.
Yep.
Us trying to figure out too, because like the AI is like a new cutting edge tool that we have still yet to fully grasp what we're trying to do with this shit. Hell, me and us here too, we have like our own like open source stuff too. We are still blown away with the capabilities of what it can currently do with just the open source stuff that's available to us.
That's right.
So
I mean, whatever. I mean, a lot of the open source is getting close to, like, it's getting close to be the same level as those frontier models. That's crazy.
Yeah, and if anything too, it's not like in general too. It's like we're not like close, but at the same time too, for how easily accessible that we have to have like powerful LLMs, maybe not rival frontiers in some aspect too, because I know too, like frontiers can like gap so many open source models too. But the fact of the matter is,
the comparison's a caveat. It's not like the latest frontier, like Fable and things like that. So
right, and it's just like that part of it itself too is like the real thing is the fact that a lot of the stuff that's open source we can host it ourselves, albeit like we mentioned before, if you have the hardware and you can run it, you could definitely do that, or you can rely on the cloud thing too, which a lot of times too we kind of lit the math about this too. We don't really pay too much. And this is even crazier right now with all the other AI arms race that's happening right now.
Yeah, realistically, you're using Olama with all the bunch of its really good open source models. We don't pay much for what we can use with it.
Yeah,
you know, it's crazy. It's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah,
I mean, if you really want to use those same models on your own hardware, you're spending like $10,000-$20,000 minimum.
Yeah, 10 or 20K, which for a lot in this market too, it's a lot too. But compared to like what these big frontier enterprise companies are paying for their stuff too, shit, this is probably the best deal that you could possibly find.
But it's the best deal for us. I mean, $20 a month, $200 a year to use these basically close to frontier model open models.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, and like I said too, it's like the whole thing too. Like I think here's the thing that I can at least give some credit to, like the big media that's trying to push for like how we should be terrified of these AI models and the fact that they broke containment. I do think we have to be careful how we use these tools because of the fact that, like what you said, it's not a matter of the like if the tools themselves are dangerous, it's the fact that the users wielding them, are they dangerous? And we have to learn how to use these stuff too, so we know how to protect ourselves in a lot of ways too. There's definitely certain things that AIs can do that I know for certain too, it will not be able to do certain shit, but if you know how to utilize it correctly too, holy fuck, would this be like the most devastating tool for a single person to use, and they would disrupt a lot of shit. Or if you know it too, you could disrupt an entire fucking industry too.
You could, absolutely.
Because do you remember the YouTube channel Kid Boga or Kid Doga? I forgot the other guy's name, but he's the one that's like
the guy that scams the scammer.
Yeah. He did release another video too, where it's like the AI voice scammers too, and he effectively broke it with by saying like anytime that you use a sentence with the letter A, say Albuquerque, New Mexico, and then at some point too, because the AI model will recognize, wait, there's an A in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and next thing you know, it's in a fucking infinite loop.
Damn, I like that.
So because like that's the thing with like AIs too. It's the fact that they are stupid smart to say the least too. They will follow your direction to a T.
Yeah.
So if you don't, it's like the same thing too with like the whole way how like there's no okay maybe it would be conceited to say that there's no such thing as like a rogue AI. We haven't even hit that threshold yet for that to be a thing, right?
Well, we're not on a Skynet direction just yet, so I think we're okay.
For the most part. But at the very most, at the very least, too, the way how we set up a lot of this stuff too, AI is literally just a very smarter computer. By that I mean the fact that the computer is not smarter than you. Your computer is only as smart as you are. By that, why do I mean by that? Compare yourself to the average coworker that does not know how to use a computer and has like 500 spams that are infecting her computer versus an average Linux user.
Yeah.
That is it. This is the comparison that I will make too of people that understand AI to that extent too. They know what it's capable of. And they know like what are the limits to it. And a lot of times too, people that are reading this, they're just straight up like either you're trying to push like a narrative that it's all hype or it's all just like doomer or whatnot too. I'm trying to go against the whole doomer stuff too because it's so fucking stupid and nonsensical a lot of times. Just because they're throwing in stuff too that like emotional like rhetoric too of like comparing stuff to like what we see in movies because you know what better way to juxtapose or a better way to describe the feeling of this type of stuff with movies that are popular that people may know, like Terminator, for example.
I mean, that's their only source of truth at this point.
Yeah,
and movies.
And for me, that's not like it's not that too. If you know the science and if you know the technology, you would know that's not the case. But a lot of times people don't know, and I don't blame them. That's the thing. I don't blame them for not knowing this too, because this shit is crazy.
I don't blame them for not knowing. I blame them for coming up with dumbass conclusions
that they don't know, kind of. That they themselves don't bother looking it up themselves, right?
Yeah.
So straight up, that's just how it feels a lot of times. It's like you have everything in your control now. You have everything made accessible to you, yet you refuse to use that for your own way to elevate yourself. It's like the whole notion too is like we're not mad. Okay, this might be a hot take for this too. I think people that were getting laid off because of like these tech companies for the AI, I don't think they're mad at the fact that the AI is taking over the job. I think they're more mad that despite them using AI, it made a fucking still terrible decision or product. Like they're still not making money.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's like people are more upset about that more than the fact that the AI is taking over jobs. Because realistically, guess what? I don't mind if AI takes over some parts of my job, right? I don't want to fucking answer fucking customer emails. I'm doing project management shit. I would rather do something else outside of like interacting with other clients that say, hey, pick up the goddamn phone or listen to this email. And I have to fucking remind them every fucking day. I'd rather have an AI handle that fucking shit. And it's just like, oh, but what happens when 90% of communications through AI? Fucking good. I don't care. I would rather have AI tell me, like in this case, what is the most important thing in the email inbox too, instead of like me kind of waiting and droning on like different emails that are fucking nothing burgers. You know, if you work in enough corporate too, a lot of these jobs just feel bullshit. Holy fuck.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
It feels weird, right? Too, because like I'm all for like people needing to get jobs to live, right? I understand that. And I also understand too that like it's shitty enough too that they're in a position to where like they're being forced by people or investors otherwise saying that, oh, if you're not the first one to use AI too, you're the last or some shit. But I'll go into that a little bit later too. And I think I discovered something that might be really funny to talk about here. But I digress. I hate the whole notion too of like straight up that they're trying to paint AI in such a bad light here. But in reality, it's like just fucking nothing else but like a smart dumb computer.
True.
Like,
I mean, it's basically a worker that only knows about one thing specifically.
yeah, and And if anything, too, it's not even if it does that well, too. If we really boil it down, it's nothing more than a predictive algorithm. And albeit it's like a really bad predictive algorithm.
Yeah.
So we're not even like close to like the sophistication that we are at. And I'll restate the things I said back there too. The original creator that made LLMs, he did not picture that this was going to be the way how we get to artificial general intelligence. Not by a long shot. Because all this is too is like, if you want people that don't understand too, how this kind of works, think of how your YouTube or TikTok algorithm works. That's just how AI kind of functions in a way how they want to think how you want to respond back. That's really just it. Now, what does it do really well with? Data aggregation. Holy fucking shit, this thing is amazing for that.
Absolutely.
Because like, let's be honest too, for people that are going to be Google searching too, how much of it is like you know exactly what to look for, or you just end up asking Google straight up the question that you're thinking of, like, hey, well, how does this happen to that? And you're just hoping somebody asks the same question somewhere online. Like I'll say at least this too. I feel like every time I ask Google stuff too, I usually just ask them exactly how I would normally ask like a normal person a question. And I just hope that it's someone else asked the same thing and somebody answered it too. And I'm like, oh fuck yes.
I mean, yeah, that's what the agent does best, you know. It answers the questions that you ask.
Yeah, so and that's just like the most useful thing that a normal person can do, because let's be honest too, I am actually okay with the idea too that like, let's just say like AI assisted search that Google's like what is still pushing forward, right? I understand the utility and the usefulness about it. Unfortunately, I think Google's own AI stuff is kind of shitty a lot of times.
It is. I mean, it's not the best AI model out there.
Yeah,
but it works. I mean, it does work. It works well for what it's supposed to do.
Right.
It's not supposed to do everything. It's just to help you aggregate search data, which it does pretty well at. And I'm saying that's all it needs to do.
Yeah, and that's all I really need to do. A lot of our researching that I do for the show too is with the assistance with AI stuff. And albeit I also like the fact too that it actually fucking cites a lot of these things so I can actually go and look at them. It's fucking great. A lot of times too, I can understand if things like start hallucinating a lot of times too. And who knows too, if I need to really need to rely on like internet searches when a lot of like the websites too are AI generated now too, which that itself is already causing issues. But you know, as long as I can look at it and read it too, actually look at the stuff too, that's what you're supposed to be doing this too, is that like this whole thing is supposed to enhance your accessibility of the internet.
You know, honestly, with how much better AI models have gotten, I think the hallucination is not as bad as it used to be.
Yeah, I remember too that it was funny as hell too, where someone said, how do you make pizza? Some things add like a jar of mayonnaise. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, that's not hallucination. That's just the AI being dumb.
That too, and it's also because the fact that it was pulling stuff and references from a previous Reddit post that did that shit, and it was just like, God, fucking damn it. Now, I do think that it has definitely gotten better too. It still hallucinates every now and then too, which is like, if you're a normal person too, if you understand that too, then that's perfectly fine. You could just
realistically, when I'm using it nowadays, I don't see it hallucinate. It gives me wrong answers, but it's not like it's outdated information, not up to date. That's really all it is.
Yeah, which is actually still impressive to say the least too. At least it's not making up information for the most part. However, people are saying too, like they could be lawyers too, give it a little bit more time.
I mean, yeah, technically, you believe in them.
Yeah, it starts making up like court cases that never happened. So that was like a paper a while back. I don't know if that still happens too. I probably need to experiment that myself to see if it would make up a court case.
You know, I'm sure it would if it doesn't have proper data.
Yeah,
that's also another thing to consider. Like if it doesn't have the information, I'm sure it'll start making up things.
Yeah, and that's like I said too, like if you know how to use the fucking tool too, such as the fact that, hey, if you have like the legal documents in the first place too, don't make them search the internet, just feed it directly into them and they can do just that. Hell, there's even more toolings that are being used to assist it too. I'll probably talk to you after this, words Victor too, where they found, some people are finding ways to how people can, because a lot of times with PDF being like the most dominant form of like sending documents and information out to, someone was able to create like a open source tool that doesn't take up a lot of server space too, and it just able to parse things correctly for the AI model to digest with full context involved. So it's actually really interesting at how that works. I'll explain it a little bit afterwards. But some of the things too that like when we talk about the open source stuff too is kind of like now bringing it more to the modern thing and times that we're getting at too. Holy fucking shit! Both that Korea just collapsed to hell. What the fuck just happened?
What do you mean?
Oh, there was like the whole thing, the news that like the whole Korean stock market just absolutely cracked.
Oh,
The,
yeah.
or at least what was it? The based on like what I was like looking at too here, it was pretty much like the whole bet was the fact that for a moment, AI had a lot of, let me say, because Korea themselves, they have like the biggest memory chip maker like SK Hynix and Samsung, right? And they were kind of relying off of that too because of the fact that the AI growth was going through. And next thing you know too, it's like, oh shit, some stuff is kind of stalling here and there too. A new Shanghai chip making factory that's starting to actually kind of question the current like production of chips in general too. Not only that too, you had actually big investors that were leaving the Korean stock exchange market too. Kind of they were selling what they had to, kind of putting the retail investors of Korea to buy the dip. And as soon as like that kind of crashed out, the retail investors were the one that got screwed in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw the fucking crash out videos that happened. I'm like,
Sounds
holy shit. Yeah.
Is it these people's first time?
I'm pretty much sure it is too, but then it's crazy enough too that like from what I understand too, it was like people's student loans that were in the stock market and some people's like mortgages were in there too. I'm like, what the fuck?
So it is their first time.
Holy
so that's the here's a rule. You don't do that.
And preferably do not do that unless you know what you're exactly doing. But other than that, yeah, don't do it. Even a sound financial advisor will probably say maybe don't do that. And here's the thing too, a lot of I would even actually debate and argue otherwise too if like doing stuff in an index fund is actually worth it right now too, because I think from what I've read somewhere too, majority of index funds is already like has something tied with like the current AI stuff right now.
Yeah, they all do. I mean, that's where the money is, so they all do.
Yeah. So right now too, what people's I think in general too, whatever is happening with like Korea, I think it is scaring a lot of people here in the US right now too, because a lot of people have index funds too. So it's just funny. Like
so index funds are rebalanced every year, so it's not like it's a serious concern.
Yeah, it's not like in general too. Like I think here's the biggest thing about that too. I do think there are definitely some AI companies too that are here in the US that are absolutely going to collapse. As I look at OpenAI and Metaverse, Anthropic is actually kind of up there right now too, as its spot is currently being contended right now. As me and you, we're probably going to look into this too, of like all the fucking open source Chinese LLM models that are being made available. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, China's just open sourcing all their things, man. I don't know.
And like I said, we're also big privacy advocates too. So even if that's the case too, the fact of the matter is like we can kind of download this too, and it's actually not as terrible for the most part.
It's just a model. It's not like a software. So
yeah, it's not like we're using this service that they're providing it from, right?
So there's really no issue, to be honest.
And that's something too that like, what was it? A lot of the markets right now too, people are, at least companies, however, are definitely scrambling right now to just because they're spending way too much on like AI stuff too. Uber already blew past like this year's budget in AI
I'm not
stuff.
Surprised. And funny thing is, the company where I worked at also blew through its budget, but my CTO is happy apparently, so they're increasing the token limit.
Man, tokens, man. For those that don't know, too, tokens is just like it's like a much more financially trackable metric of knowing like how much a company is spending on like using AI as part of like their everyday operations. That's just really what it is too. And it's tokens per users kind of shit.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, man, that's crazy. You'd rather spend a lot of money on AI rather than actual people.
Yeah, and
it makes sense why my team is currently understaffed right now.
Holy shit. But yeah, all I got from this too is like there's just like a mania that's happening right now too that I think a lot of people would you say it's still technically it feels like that at this point it's like the .com bubble almost.
I say half yes, only because it is a lot of hype, but it's still a product that we are actively using right now. You know,
Right.
unlike the dot com bubble, where if you had a .com
Yeah.
in your URL, in your domain name, then you were $1 billion company.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's different, but it's similar kind of a thing.
I think the best comparison would be like, despite like if everything fucking fails too, but similar to like the .com, which would be like the telecommunication cable lines to all the internet lines that were set up too. The company that made those internet connection lines are no longer existing, and therefore AT&T is like the winner for all this shit.
Realistically, I mean, you can't compare it, and it can be the same only because a lot of companies fail. A lot of .com companies fail.
Yeah.
And then there are the ones that define today's tech generation. You know, Google, Amazon, a lot of other companies that came from like the early 2000s.
Yeah, 4chan, for example.
Well, we don't talk about that.
It's fair enough too. That's like its own like cesspool of like issues and problems a little bit.
So I mean, even today is kind of the same thing. I mean, we do have a few companies that will define the AI generation.
Yeah,
it's not going to be everybody that uses AI or everybody that develops an AI model. You know.
Yeah,
there's going to be a ton of companies that go under, and then that's something that it's already happening. But we'll see how far it goes.
Yeah, because I don't think it's going to be like a historical like level collapse that we saw from like either the Great Depression, the 2008 recession, the housing, or not the housing market crash, the .com bubble. I don't think it's going to be like as catastrophic as that. I think it's just going to be, I think someone on YouTube said it the best too. The only way that we will know that like it's all over too, when you see one of the execs too, that like we are now going to be tempering our spending when it comes to AI development. I think that's all it's going to be. I think that's going to be the realistic outcome about this too, is that you're just going to see a lot of companies that says that they will be tempering their expectations with their AI stuff here.
Yeah, that will definitely cause a market a market correction for sure. But I think that is the correct path to go. We shouldn't be just going all in on AI. I mean, a lot of companies have went in all in AI, saw that it wasn't actually as good as they hoped, and now they're starting to hire people back. So
yeah, it's mostly because like it is just straight up like they wanted to do an arms race, because like right now China is developing all this stuff, and people are saying too that like because of like them pumping out like cheaper models than even the American frontier models too, that's causing issues. But realistically, I think what caused the biggest issue is the fact that USA government are able to like just shut out like certain AI models away from countries just because of like national security, which in a lot of ways you can't really blame them for that, but it does hurt them a lot.
I think that also goes to show how far behind we really are.
Right.
Like we like to think that we're ahead in terms of AI, but no, I think China's far ahead in AI and just tech in general.
Yeah, like this is just us admitting it right now too. Like they are far more advanced and ahead of us too.
We can't deny that. If we deny that, we can't compete. Is the thing here.
Yeah, like we're doing everything that we can to like prevent this stuff from going over too, such as the fact that there is like proposed like straight up bans too, that like we won't be able to access like the Chinese LLM models, which I don't know if that's actually going to stick at this point too, because a lot of American companies are shifting over to them.
Yeah, because it doesn't do anything. Like you stop from using Chinese models, but those Chinese models don't do anything. You know, it's not a national security risk.
Yeah, like the models themselves, and we're looking at it in terms of like you could just download the LLM models to it. But in this case, if you use like the services that they're hosting their models off of, then that becomes its own set national security issues. But if you know enough people too that can set this up too, why wouldn't a company kind of invest in doing that? And now you even look at whenever we did the whole data centers in space too, you're looking at right now timelines that these data centers are going to be fucking become legacy models too in like 2 or 3 years. Just because like the more that we keep developing this, that they need to be bigger and better too, the more resources, the more stuff that we need to add into it. And yeah, of course it's gonna cause a fucking bubble to fucking, or to everybody else, it looks like a fucking bubble. Like it doesn't take a person to realize too like how much that we're spending this, and it's like what value does this really generate for most people? Not a lot. And I hope for the people that, or the companies that were pushing this shit too, that like, oh, we're gonna be first AI stuff too. I hope the first company that goes first was that fucking golf club commercial that I just saw too. Whatever the shit that was.
Golf club commercial was that?
It was saying too that like, oh, with our newest stadium, our golf club too, whenever you take your swings, it's able to calculate. We have all this stuff in it too that will determine, give you course correction to how you can actually play better with the power of AI in our golf clubs. When someone broke it open too, it's just a regular fucking golf club.
Yeah, I do not doubt that.
I'm just like, at this point, I wonder this is how people felt with the .com bubble too, where they had like people that there were companies that had no reason to want to push for like their valuation just because they had .com in their name. Albeit, it's mostly because like it's a marketing thing too. Whoever was the first one to set up their online retail store, they were going to be the winners, right? I don't blame them for that. Therefore, that's why we had stuff like Google and Amazon being like at this point the internet giants. How majority of our traffic is running through them. I think that's pretty much what it is too. And now it's trying to figure out too, like who kind of goes in control with the AI stuff too. And I mean, whether if I want to say that I wish it was us in the US too, I think it's going to be China at the very end too. That's just something too that a lot of people in the US are very afraid of. It's very afraid of what that would happen too. But at the very end of the day too, if it's just a fucking software LM models that we could kind of get to, it's not like we could fucking get it ourselves and then just start using it anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like I don't get this like whole thing with being scared too. I understand that we had to be there because, you know, USA #1, yeah, and I would like to believe that too. But the way how we're kind of going about this, it's like, why are we acting as if we are losing?
Because we are.
Yeah. So,
but that's the thing, though. We are, and
yeah.
we need to understand that in order to compete better.
Yeah.
But America, for some reason, are just complete sore losers. So if they can't beat them, they'll just ban them.
Yeah, and it's just like, God, I hate that. That's like our defense too. Instead of like actually trying to fucking make these things better too. Like, why couldn't we have like our own like fucking ragtag team to like fucking make our own AI models too? Oh, that's right, we can't, because, you know, trying to get the money to get that type of development too is like something that we can't feasibly achieve, because, you know,
no, we can. Well, I mean, government's giving away free $500 billion.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, we definitely can. It's just we're not using it correctly.
Oh yeah, that's right. My bad when I mentioned the last episode too. It's like, you know, why are we spending so much money too that like, oh, we're gonna use this money to send data centers in space? Like, how about we actually fucking build something with this shit? Like, what the fuck are we doing? And then it's like, everyone is like afraid of spending right now too, when the US government was willy-nilly about to sign away fucking $2 trillion to these AI companies that are at this point gonna go under. Looking at OpenAI and Metaverse here. God.
100%. We have the we have the capital and the capacity to do it. It's just, I don't know what it is. I don't know what's the American mindset of just banning out companies rather than, or banning out like competitors rather than just making things better.
Right. And at least for the most part too, like this is why like we are big advocates and push for open source models too, because at least for the most part, if we don't agree with whatever the fuck they're doing, we'll just take it upon our own hands, right? Like that is the reality of a lot of this too. And then the moment that I see us doing this too, I start to look even less and less of the bigger AI providing as a service too. Like their value gets even lower for me. That we are able to self-host it. Albeit too, if I were to choose between that and a Chinese model, Chinese services too, I actually would pick the Chinese services too.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, okay. Mind you, we're gonna do like in this case set up all this stuff to make sure I don't leak some shit too that I shouldn't be. But you know, it'd be more like I would rather like take stuff from like, if I can get the tools from like China too, fuck it, might as well, right? Everyone else is already outsourcing shit anyways too. Look at the tech companies too.
I suppose.
Yeah. Fucking Microsoft not Microsoft. This is mostly me alleging this at this point too. They fired so many people too, and then brought back a lot of it as H-1B workers. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, I know. That's dumb.
Yeah, like I said, allegedly. I don't know if that's actually true too. I don't even remember the numbers.
Too, but I heard that too. But honestly, I 100% believe it.
God damn it. Like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, come on. Like, the market itself, like, yes, the market needed correction a long time ago. Let's be honest here too. And here's the thing about it too, that people are not going to be happy with this too. I don't think NVIDIA is going to like short their own positions here. Because let's be honest, even if this whole thing fucking fails, the money is still real. They still got the money at the end. So realistically, it does not matter what happens to all this too. People are hoping that NVIDIA would like lower their GPU prices, but it's like, I mean, it doesn't matter too if they lower or raise prices too. They already got the fucking money from the AI companies too, because they are like the providers.
Lowering prices. I mean,
this is like the gamers like perspective, like hoping that the prices go down.
I know, but NVIDIA is more focused on the AI companies, and not the GPU. So it's not a pricing issue. The pricing is normal. It's just third parties, resellers, and all that nonsense raising prices because there's a scarcity of GPUs.
Yeah, because
NVIDIA is not building enough of them.
Yeah, and it's like, and that's the thing too that like we also gotta understand too, like the RAM makers too, when they shot up in prices too, it's not like they wanted to like increase the prices in general too. When they even stated earlier too that they were going to decrease productions of RAM just because they were making way too much. And you know what? With the amount of prices that we saw for RAM, I kind of agreed with that statement. They were making like not enough money off of these too, until it was like, oh, we're just going to buy all this fucking RAM prices now too. Holy fucking shit. And next thing you know, Samsung and SK Hynix are currently being killed off because they can't meet the demand.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I remember just not too long ago. I mean, holy shit, it's actually almost close to a year now, to be fair. But about a year ago, 64 gigs of RAM was about $100 or so.
Right. And if we look at it right now too, let me do a quick Amazon search here too. How much does a 64 gig kit? 64 GB kit RAM of DDR5 specifically, right?
Yeah, DDR5. Damn, there's some that's 1,000 right now. Crazy.
Holy fuck! You called me crazy when I got my 64 gigabyte kit.
No, you were. I mean, at the time, you were crazy. I'm not. That claim still stands.
Look, man, I bought this not knowing the fact that the RAM prices were just gonna shoot up that fucking high in the first place. All right. Yes, I was insane for doing this shit too, but I'll be honest.
He bought his 64 gigs for, at the time, it was like, what was it, $300?
I think it was like 200 actually.
Okay, $200. For that time, it was extraordinarily high. So
yeah,
just a bit of context there.
Yeah, now it's just even ludicrously expensive. Like, what the fuck?
It was $1,000 for a kit. That is insane. 64 gigs, but still insane.
Yeah, and it's just because of the fact too that like it is just the fact that like there's not enough in the circulation and supply right now. That and for all the gamers too, I mean, I guess all we could do is cope harder. That's the best thing we got right now until like things start to normalize too. A lot of these resellers too, I'll be honest, can go fuck themselves because they are the same people that are scalpers. Fuck me, they're already going into the Gundam card games too. I fucking hate it here.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait like probably 3 years before we see any type of price changes.
Yeah, it's like holy shit. Because right now we're seeing like people that are trying to do the resale markets right now too, that like I get it, that's like some ways to make a living too, but come on, why the fuck are you like trying to 10x the original price that you bought it for, you fucking scummy piece of shit. God. And it's just like a lot of times it's not even they're selling it to people, they're just selling it to each other, buying it from there too. So it's like the same money that's kind of just circulating, circle jerking with each other at the time. And I'm like, what are we doing, guys? And next thing you know, all this needs to happen is like, yeah, just give them like an initial shock of supply going into the market too. And next thing you know, they will lower the prices. Shocker to nobody, I guess. Yeah. But anyways, this is like outside of context for like TCG scalpers. They make money because of, influencers. They need product. So therefore, a lot of times the prices are not for us. It's for the influencers, which God fucking damn it. I'm just... man, I am very upset of like just trying to mull over that fact right now. But on the plus side of the news too, despite my initial claim too that like everyone is trying to race to be the first one to use AI too, you know who would actually be the actual winner of after all this stuff too? Fucking Apple. They were the first.
Yes and no.
I would say they initially failed because they did not roll out the new Siri, or their own AI chat system that they were trying to roll out with their newer phones. And they even got sued for that too. But at least in my opinion right now too, they haven't spent that much money into the AI development systems, or they're the few tech companies that haven't spent that much into AI development. And they're currently still benefiting on the fact too that like all the cheaper models and stuff too are coming out.
Look, AI is not Apple's not a real tech company.
They're not.
That's my hot take.
They're not a tech company per se, because what are can they still rely on? It's the fact they still make products. They're still a manufacturer, like in electronics kind of thing. Albeit too, happens to the most part too that you buy an Apple product that just so happens to come with the software. I think that's realistically what it is, and they can kind of just reap the benefits from that. And then I kind of want to hear like your no part of like what else like could they technically be like the overall winners when it comes to like the few people that are able to win this AI race.
I mean, Apple's slow to adopt AI, and that's probably the main reason why they quote unquote won. But that's not. I don't think that is the end all. The end all reason, you know. Yeah. I mean, there's still some sort of intelligence, artificial intelligence that's required.
Yeah.
So it may not be generative AI, like having a chatbot on your phone.
Right.
But look, they still have Siri. Siri is their AI.
Yeah.
So
and if anything too, I'm actually more impressed with some of like the more Apple hardware stuff that they're rolling out, such as like their unified memory. That shit is actually really cool to think about.
I mean, there's a lot of other products with unified memory. It's not like a specific to Apple thing.
Yeah. Maybe it's because a lot of my times too, whenever I look at the AI stuff too, I just seen people going insane too. It was like, hey guys, I bought like in this case 5 Mac computers that I link them all in parallel or serial with each other and just power my 700 billion parameter model.
Another hot take. I think that's just Apple propaganda.
I think it might be actually.
Apple propaganda. There is plenty of other PCs that have unified 128 gig unified memory.
Yes.
Using a high-end AI chip that can do the same thing. I think that's just Apple propaganda.
Maybe, but at the same time, at the very end of the day, I'm just looking at this and I'm like, what the fuck kind of redneckery bullshit am I looking at here?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? To be fair though, there's no, at least when it comes to like self-hosting stuff too, there is no like standardized way of like how people would build out their home servers. It's just whatever it is too. If you have the hardware components to just slap shit together and there's a fucking connection, there's your server, right? For all we know too, Victor, you could probably put our server on the fucking ceiling without a case to it. It's just like sprawled around it.
You want that to happen? We can.
Probably not.
I'll connect it to the fan too so I can spin around and get some air cooling.
God fucking damn it, Victor. I don't think it's rated for that weight. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh, it looks like we have to find those big ass fans then.
Oh my fucking god. To all the people that want ideas to try to make a home lab server that's built into your fucking home fan or some shit.
Make sure you can turn it on, make sure you can spin so I can get that good cooling.
God damn it. Someone is bound to fucking make that
You don't
shit
even
happen.
need a fan. It's attached to a fan.
Oh my fucking god. I hate everything about this so much. What did we just start putting out to the world if that is the case then? But I think if like, let's just say too, if we're going to actually see like which companies too that can survive the AI race, I put my bid on in this case for Apple at least when it comes to like to do fuck, they're no longer FANG companies. What was like their new name? I forgot what it was.
I don't know. They're still using Mag 7, but I remember
oh yeah, like
I remember Mango was one of them.
Oh,
I don't think they're using that either, but we'll see.
Yeah, and it's like, I guess outside of like the big like companies that we're seeing all these headlines to, who is the most likely to survive?
Are we talking about tech companies?
Yeah, just tech companies.
Are tech companies developing AI stuff, or what about equipment makers? Equipment makers for AI, like NVIDIA.
I would throw them in there too. I would throw them in there too.
Well, 100% NVIDIA is going to be fine.
Yeah, like, because let's be honest, both Apple and NVIDIA, they're, what are they realistically? They are also just equipment makers, albeit no one is really going to make a server out of Mac computers.
Well,
at least no one is that.
I mean, they have.
They do have. Oh god, right. But mind you, but if it's anything else to like go off of too, a lot of people are going to be going for like NVIDIA, AMD stuff. People that are making this stuff too, such as the argument of like, you make money by selling the shovel, not for finding gold.
That's why OpenAI is going to go bankrupt soon, and NVIDIA is a $4 trillion company.
Yeah, and guess what too? It's like, damn, Microsoft really got robbed of money at that point from NVIDIA. God. And I don't even know where Anthropic realistically can go from here too. The only thing that I remember from it too is that like they are what I would envision as like the top tier shelf of like when it comes to AI LLM stuff. But even then,
from what it looks like, I think Anthropic would be in the AI age what Amazon was during the .com bubble. It kind of seems that way.
Right. And this is a matter of like, honestly, we will just have to see at this point too, because this is still developing as well too. And when I mentioned like the whole like South Korea's like fucking entire stock market collapsing just because of that too, it might happen here in the US, but albeit it's a lot slower because like there's a lot more guardrails, a lot more capital that makes this whole process a little bit slower. But I mean, I can fucking see it on my fucking stock sheets that I have or stock portfolio that I have. And this is not a financial advice too, but man, I fucking love heavy excavation companies or heavy machinery companies like Caterpillar.
Yeah, don't listen to Brian.
Yeah, don't listen to my financial advices about that too. It was just like an insane bet that I put it on to, and I guess it's sort of paying out still.
It's not even insane.
It makes sense.
It's a company that's providing equipment to construction companies or just construction in general.
Yeah.
And knowing America, knowing the whole world, construction happens to the end of the earth, probably.
Yeah, the only time things do happen too is we stop building, which EXT, that's never fucking happening.
Yeah, we're always going to build. We're always going to improve. There's no stopping that. So
yeah, so
can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's like, don't need to sound like an industrialist, but man, I fucking love those big ass excavators.
Okay, you industrialist.
Hey, shut up. Look, man, those lithium mines ain't gonna mine itself too. Mind you, those like fucking excavation or those mining companies too, you know damn well that like they're not gonna fucking straight up buy or make their own tools anyways. They will just go do business with like other companies that have access to heavy machinery that they can lend off from them, and therefore make a business off of it that way. That was pretty much what John Deere effectively does too, outside of the, you know, them trying to shoot down the right to repair stuff. But that's it's like its own separate thing too that I think we've talked about in the past.
Yeah.
So mind you, we got a lot of stuff to probably talk about with it too, such as like Japan's market is also kind of crashing too, but it's mostly because it's SoftBank for the most part. But I don't know too much about that. It was something that like it kind of just brought onto my feed from like one article, and I still have yet to read it just because, you know, I was kind of making a video under the assumption that we were just talking about AI broke out containment and it hacked Hugging Face to do, what was it exactly? Cheat off of a test? Wait, really? I was like, yup. It's like I said to, like what we said at the beginning, they're nothing more but very smart dumbasses. So AI can only do what we are able to accomplish, and it does show like a lot, especially Microsoft saying a lot of our, what was it them saying 30% or some amount of percentage that all of our Windows update is made by AI coding. I was like, yeah, we can tell.
It was a big percentage. Yeah,
he was like, yeah, we can tell. Looks at the previous fucking article of them, like the recent update that's borking everybody's SSDs for whatever reason. It's not like I'm pointing fingers, but you know, they say that they didn't do it, but do I fucking believe them? I don't fucking know.
I don't believe jack shit.
Yeah. So if for people that want to feel like, is there some semblance of sanity in throughout all of this stuff too? The thing is, AI is not going away. That is a definite reality. It's not going away because compared to like the things that happened before with crypto and NFT stuff, we have data centers that exist that could still be used for anything else too. And even if these AI companies literally fall through, such as for example OpenAI, if they collapse too, they will literally just get absorbed back into Microsoft. Like, and they're just, some people are coping otherwise. They're like, oh, will Microsoft bail them out? Fuck no. Why would they? Especially currently right now that they're, well, I actually wouldn't say that they're struggling right now too, because apparently there's another report that came out too that they're actually doing sort of decent, but they're not seeing like monumental growth is I think the best way to word that.
Sounds like propaganda to me.
Yeah, for all I know, right? Like I said, we will see. And anything else too, continue doing what you are doing. This is not me also promoting this too. If you want to stick it to these services too, piracy is always an option. This is not a legal advice. I am not condoning nor promoting people to commit piracy at any point. But should you, and that is be smart, know your information, be very safe out there, guys. And that's all I will provide in that context.
It's a dangerous world out there, guys. Careful.
Yeah, very much so. Anyways, now that I'm going to put this pirate hat away real quick. God damn it.
This boy's a filthy pirate.
Look, man.
Absolutely goddamn filthy.
You didn't even think about like downloading music say illegally too? I know you have.
No, I'm not just talking about you filthy pirate.
Shut up, you fucking hypocrite.
I ain't no hippopotamus. Fuck you.
Oh my god. But outside of that too, I mean, the best way we can word this off too is like a lot of it is still like the whole AI scare. It's a nothing burger. What we should be worried about is the fact that we're just going blindly headfirst and spending money when we didn't have like an actual fucking plan in the first place. Or at least the plan was for growth, but what does that growth look like? And obviously too, it's just like, wow, a lot of this shit didn't fucking work too. I wonder how much of these ideas came up from the fact too that some of these executives just fucking ask ChatGPT what is the best way to make money.
I believe it.
And this just really proves too that like AI is not as powerful a tool as it is too. It's just people that are using it are fucking dumbasses. Holy shit. Like I said too, and pretty much before, like with jobs and like in video games, people are not mad about the fact that a game studio uses AI to develop games. It's the fact that you still make shitty games despite the fact that you have AI. God, I hope everyone has a nice and wonderful evening. I'm about to drink myself into a stupor after all this shit. Anyway, you have any closing statements, Victor?
Nope, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in tonight of me kind of ranting and calling out some people's stupidity for what it is. Have a wonderful evening, y'all. Bye.
Good night.